fun.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah.
With it in a very different way. They move the material around, just like a potter moves things with clay with their hands. But a blacksmith moves things with 2 fingers instead of 10. This is my finger, my hammer, and my anvil is my thumb. And the material is pinched between those 2 into all of the different tools and shapes that a blacksmith makes and uses. And after watching a blacksmith, I've been doing this for 10 years, and after watching a smith that has been at it for a long period of time, it almost looks like magic and has a tendency to look like, wow, this is a lost art, that somehow only a select few do this. But that's not the truth of it at all, because historically everything made from metal was made by hand, and smiths were everywhere. Blacksmiths were everywhere. About 160 people could keep one blacksmith employed full-time. Wow. And in North America, where naming conventions, surnames follow professions, Smith still remains the single largest surname in North America, and we haven't had a ticketed trade as blacksmiths for well over a century, because they were everywhere. And it's a trade that is learned just by practice. You do it again and again and again. So let me assure you that any one of you, if you can write your name on a piece of paper, you have exponentially more hand-eye skill than is required to do this job. So the skill of learning to write is far more complex than the skill of learning to be a blacksmith. Ancient texts of metallurgy and how things were doing. You learn to be a blacksmith by making a single tool, and often you were not even watched by the blacksmith. You were shown how to make it, and then you were let on to practice until you could prove your competence to the master blacksmith by making the tool again and again. So I'll just put this to a side for a moment, and I'll show you what that tool was. The first record of the fort, actually. The first record of the fort about the blacksmith happened about 3 weeks after the fort was being built. The first fort was being built down at Darby Reach, which is about 4 or 5 kilometers downriver. And when they were arriving there, everybody else is about 24 men. They're setting up the other buildings of the fort. They're cutting the timbers, building buildings. And the blacksmith comes and is given a new mate to train. And he sets up in the middle of the cleared area and he starts making nails, one after the other. And the head of the fort writes in the journal something which I felt was kind of nasty. He says, "I don't think our new blacksmith and his mate have any higher aspirations in life than..."
That map shows.
Yeah, here, right on the corner.
This was all the territory that the Hudson Bay Company was doing business in.
You were all awesome.
I know, right?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
We're good, but we're hot.
Yeah,
That's how we are.
Yeah, it is hot.
Yeah.
But good thing we have some wind blowing.
Just a little bit,
Yeah.
I
Looks-
wouldn't mind a little more.
Yeah. Yeah.
He just got like really quiet. I said it was like, please have
That's funny.
Other than the guns and the stuff, none of that. Military stuff. I enjoy the hat. I think what's happening all the hats.
And this is provided
No, I didn't. Yeah,
なんかフルーツ系で